In this clip, we're going to show you how to set up and use scenarios. Now, a scenario is simply a version of the model where you've made a change to one or more of the items in the model. We've already set it up with some examples for you. If you click on the lower contact rate and more contagious option on the scenarios list, in this scenario we've assumed that people contact each other somewhat less frequently than we thought, but the disease is actually much more contagious when those people do meet each other, and the result of that is shown in the pink lines on the charts. We get a much larger surge in the number of new cases per day, and that translates all the way through to a much higher death rate on the far right hand side. The next scenario is one in which many fewer people who catch the disease get only very mild symptoms. You'll remember that if you get very mild symptoms, you basically carry on with your normal life and contact people really quite frequently. So if you have fewer cases getting very mild symptoms and more cases getting symptoms that are bad enough that they stay off work or stay off school, then they stay home and they don't contact other people, and the rate of spread of the disease is very much reduced. Go back to the base case. Now, to create a scenario, you click Manage Scenarios, add a scenario at the bottom there, and give it a name. And let's set one up which is less effective lockdown. You can choose a colour for the scenario to display, so let's make this one grey, and you can also rearrange the order in which these scenarios are displayed. So in this case, let's actually change the effectiveness of the enforced social distancing. You can now see that if the people of London have been very much less disciplined in following the guidance on social isolation, the number of cases would have been hugely greater, and that translates through to a much higher death rate on the far right hand side. We end up with far fewer susceptible people left to get the disease, but that's come at a very high price. Any item or items that you have changed in a scenario are highlighted when that scenario is selected. You can display more than one of these scenarios by clicking on the I button next to the scenarios you want to compare. Note that you can't actually change anything in the model itself. When you're in one of these scenarios, you have to go back to the base case if you want to do any other changes.